What's up, guys, and welcome to another Pokemon Sun and Moon competitive showcase analysis guide video, whatever you want to call it. I am PokeaimMD. Today we're going to be talking about Vikavolt, or Vikavolt, however you want to pronounce it. I like Vikavolt because it reminds me of Vikings, but maybe Vikavolt is correct. But either way, who cares? Tomato, tomato. Anyway, if you guys missed any of the previous moveset videos, I was about to call it a showcase, but if you missed any of the previous moveset videos, there's a playlist. Link is down below in the description. I encourage you to check that out. We're almost to the end of all the fully evolved Sun and Moon Mons, and then here and there I'll probably throw in some little cut Mons occasionally. Maybe some Mons that I think will be good in NU, which will probably be like the pre-evolutions and whatnot. But I encourage you to check out that playlist. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitch and Twitter. Those links are down below. I'll be streaming today. Anyway, so Vikavolt. Very, I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed. I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed. This is one of my favorite new mons. I wanted it on my team. It was on my team, but its description said it's so fast. It's something about it being fast, and I was really disappointed to see that it was base 43 speed. This thing carried me though. This thing definitely carried me when I played through Sun and Moon. But it has a base 100, a really impressive base 145 special attack stat, and a pretty decent base 90 defenses. Base 90 defense, and then I would say below average base 75 special defense and base 77 HP, which is higher than most mods in Alola. A lot of them capped out at base 60. But Vikavolt is bug and electric type, which is two good offensive stabs. Offensively, bug and electric pair pretty well together, as obviously electric cannot touch ground types, and it's resisted by dragon types, resisted by grass, which bug happens to hit for either neutral or super effective damage on the mods that I mentioned, or the types that I mentioned. And electric hits steel for neutral, hits poison for neutral, pretty much what was resisted by bug, hits fairy for neutral. So they pair well offensively. Defensively doesn't really do much for it. Bug just added a whole bunch of weaknesses, but it does have levitate. Levitate does allow it to be immune and switch into ground type attacks, which is pretty nice because not only is it immune to ground type attacks, but it also is immune to spikes, T-spikes. So hazard, sticky web. Not that sticky web matters, you're not going to outspeed anything anyway, but it's nice because Vikavolt obviously is immune to those. So because it does have that low base speed and that really high base special attack stat, the first set we're going to be talking about is the Trick Room Abuser. So this set functions under Trick Room. You're going to want a Trick Room user with this set. So Porygon, Celia, Diancie, regular Diancie, Carbink, Slowbro, all those mods pair really well with Vikavolt because they can get a Trick Room for Vikavolt. So the first set is just a Life Orb, full-on abusing, attacking, max special attack Vikavolt, quiet nature so you can minimize your speed. That way you can be 81 speed in Trick Room, 248 in HP. That way you can switch into Stealth Rock multiple times, and then 8 Speed Def. I just dumped it in Speed Def, but you can dump it into defense just because it takes hits. I had a battle where a Scizor set it to +2, and his Bullet Punch did 25% to my Vikavolt. So this boy eats up hits. But the set is Bug Buzz and Thunderbolt. Obviously, those are your two stabs, your two main forms of stabs. Energy Ball is there because that allows you to get through ground types for super effective damage, such as the Powdon, such as Gastrodon, such as Seismitoad, though all of which are 2-hit KO'd by Bug Buzz. Under most circumstances, they're 2-hit KO'd by Bug Buzz, but Energy Ball allows you to deal with those, Quagsire, whatnot, knock them out. And then Hit Power Ice allows you to get through Garchomp and Landorus, as well as Gliscor. I've been using this Pokemon in UU, as well as OU, and when you're playing a Pokebank OU, you see a lot of Landorus, you see a lot of Garchomp, and a lot of Landorus these days are actually running Stone Edge. They want to run HP Ice because you need it for Landorus, for Garchomp, for Salamis, all of which are huge threats. The first two, they have, or Salamis and Landorus, they have Supersonic Sky Strike. So HP Ice is a really good option on this set. And it's just a really offensive version of Vikavolt. You can run Hidden Power Ground too if you want to be able to deal with Magnezone and 2-hit KO Alolan Marowak. That's also a play, but I like Hidden Power Ice. Just this is some of the best coverage that Vikavolt could have. Next up, we have Specs. Now, the Spec Set all about hitting hard. Thunderbolt and Volt Switch. It does have Volt Switch in its arsenal, so it does have a move that can give you some momentum. So those are the first two moves, Bug Buzz. Now the last move can either be Energy Ball or HP Ice. I prefer HP Ice just because when you're Specs, Bug Buzz is 2-hit KOing the ground types such as Hippowdon, such as Garchomp anyway, with base 145 special attack easily. And HP Ice is nice just for breaking through Landorus and breaking through Garchomp. Yes, they are 2-hit KO'd, as I said, Gliscor as well. Yes, Garchomp and Hippowdon are 2-hit KO'd, but I like the idea of just OHKOing them straight at the bat and just helping out my teammates. I'll talk about some of the teammates that work out with Vikavolt and why. But I like HP Ice over Energy Ball on the Spec set because Spec's Bug Buzz is 2-hit KOing Hippowdon, it's 2-hit KOing Gastrodon, 2-hit KOing Seismitoad, just mons that would be hit by Energy Ball that otherwise don't care. And the Thunderbolt and Bug Buzz are both doing a hell of a lot to Rotom anyway, so you don't necessarily need any chip like damage. The EV spread is max special attack. I gave 40 speed because this allows you to outspeed Hippowdon just in case they're running Stone Edge. Not that Hippowdon can really touch you unless it is running Stone Edge, but I like the ability to outspeed Hippowdon before it slacks off. Or before it can Stone Edge you. And the rest was put to HP. Alternatively, you could use a spread that outspeeds base 60s. And that would be, I don't know why my mouse isn't working. Actually, I do know why. But you could always go enough speed to outspeed like a Fable and whatnot. Outspeeding Pokemon. Wow, it's just not even my mouse. It's this. Outspeeding Clefable. You could even go neutral max and outspeed Pokemon like Skarmory. Still slower than Pokemon like such as Scizor, unfortunately. But that's good because you can get off a slow Volt Switch. So you can definitely go more speed if you want to be able to outspeed Skarmory. Clefable only needs to hit like 158 speed to outspeed Clefable. 157 is usually enough because Clefable doesn't usually invest in speed, but 158 is just safe to outspeed that and just hit them hard. 2-hit KO with a Thunderbolt easily. Life Orb Roost is the next set that it does have. Now you could actually run Roost on the Trick Room Abuser set as well if you don't want to run Energy Ball. It definitely is a good option, because this is just good coverage in general. So Roost is definitely an option on the Trick Room Abuser set. But Life Orb Roost, it does have decent defenses and it tanks hits. It resists electric. It can take on the weaker hits from Tapu Fini. You can Roost up on it, knock it out with Thunderbolt. This is why the Life Orb Roost set runs Thunderbolt and Discharge, or Discharge, excuse me. I wish there was like a slash option that made it look nice, but you can run Thunderbolt or Discharge on Vikavolt. Discharge has that 30% chance to paralyze your opponent. Yes, it is weaker than Thunderbolt, but it does support the team more if you do manage to get the para, because anything that wants to take that, you can deal with that. Bug Buzz, obviously, your second form of style, Hidden Power Ice. You can change that for Energy Ball. Again, same EV spread, just made it a little bit faster than Hippowdon. Hidden Power Ground can also be used for, again, Alolan Marowak, which you do outspeed min speed Alolan Marowak with this spread, but I prefer Hidden Power Ice again just for the straight up power. And this is also a set that can be ran on Trick Room, just get rid of the speed, run Quiet Nature. So Agility is the next set that we have. It doesn't have an impressive speed stat at all, but after using Agility, you are faster than Pokemon such as Tapu Koko, you are faster than Pokemon such as Mega Lopunny when they exist. So it can be used in Agility Sweeper, especially with that high special attack stat. So the Agility set is Timid Max Speed, which allows you to outspeed Tapu Koko. Unfortunately, without going Timid after an Agility, if you're not Timid, I believe you're still slower than Greninja if you don't go Timid. So this allows you to outspeed Pokemon like that. Agility, Thunderbolt, Bug Buzz, Hidden Power. Hidden Power is yours of choice. You can run Hidden Power Fire for Ferrothorn, for Scizor. You can run Hidden Power Ground for Magnezone, Marowak, Heatran. I think on this set I would run Hidden Power Ground since those are more likely to stop you than other mons, and you can always pair this with Pokemon that can beat Scizor and Ferrothorn. And not like you're not doing a lot with a Life Orb Bug Buzz or a Life Orb Thunderbolt to those mons. So the Agility set functions more as a sweeper. Under the right conditions, it could definitely win. I've used this set to success just because you force switches. You could also use Agility Roost with just 2 stabs. That's also another option, but I like Hidden Power. But it is really your choice if you want to run Hidden Power Ice. On the Agility Sweeper, I would definitely run in Hidden Power Ice, though, because Landorus and Garchomp are just so common that you want to be able to 2-hit KO those. Or even knocking them out in Landorus' case. Garchomp depends on what it's running. But then again, Garchomp, you have 389 special attack, so you're going to be doing a ton of Garchomp. The next set we have, and the final set that we have, is the Assault Vest set. Now, with an Assault Vest, it can tank a hit. It tanks hits from Tapu Koko. I believe max damage that Life Orb Thunderbolt could do is 31%. And this can also switch in multiple times to Tapu Fini. Can eat up hits from Lele. Can eat up hits from Spec Ninja. Knock that boy out with Discharge. Discharge is the preferred option on the Assault Vest. I would not run Thunderbolt. I would definitely run a Discharge, especially because this is supposed to be like a pivot, supposed to be a Volt Switcher, paralyze your opponent, Volt Switch around, Bug Buzz, HP Ice. You just use this to break through your opponent's team, eat up hits that you need to. With an Assault Vest, it's still not very bulky on the special side. Again, be careful because, yeah, you can take a Specs Hydro Pump, but if you're at about 60%, that's around the range that Specs Hydro Pump does to you from Greninja. So, and that's regular Greninja. That's not even Ash Greninja yet. So be very careful with this. It can eat up a hit, though, and it can function as a Volt Switch abuser. And having Levitate is really nice because, again, you're not weak to spikes. You're not weak to T-Spikes. So unless Stealth Rock on the field, you're not taking any hazard damage. And it can switch in, again, to Pokemon such as Landers. Scout for Stone Edge, but they don't typically run it these days. They run Knockoff or Hidden Power Ice. I would always run Hidden Power Ice on my Landers these days. Or at least Hidden Power Fire. But I would definitely run Hidden Power Ice, especially if my team is weak to Salamence or opposing Landers. But Vikavolt is really cool as a Volt Switch user, and could definitely be put on a team for that reason. Now, it does have a few other options. Thunder can be used if you're running it on a rain team. One of the accurate Thunders. Thunder Wave is also another option. You can paralyze your opponent. I prefer Discharge, a more offensive option. I feel like if you're not using this to attack, it's not. You're kind of just wasting Vikavolt's potential. Yeah, Thunder Wave is really nice for paralyzing your opponent, but why Thunder Wave them when I can potentially 2-hit KO them? I guess supporting a teammate, so you could definitely use that. Substitute is also an option. Hit hard behind a sub. With Levitate, you have some nice immunities to ground, so you can sell up, scare them out with Energy Ball and whatnot. And String Shot plus PokeaimMD, I believe, gives you +1 speed and lowers your opponent's speed by -2, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that's what it does. So that's a pretty cool gimmick that you can run. But at the same time, +1 Vikavolt is not very fast to begin with. So it's just an option. Obviously, you can use ThunderMZ or ElectroMZ. I think it's called ElectroMZ. I don't know why I call it ThunderMZ, but ElectroMZ, PokeaimMD to power up that. I saw somebody mention using a physical set. It doesn't have the best physical attack. If you're using a physical set, use it in-game. That's the only place I would honestly use it. But it doesn't have the best physical move spread. I also saw somebody using Mud Bomb plus Ground AMZ, which is, or was it Mud Shot? I believe it was Mud Shot. It's probably Mud Shot plus Ground AMZ, which isn't really a good option, but I am going to mention it just because it could be something that could catch your opponent off guard. I believe it was Mud Shot. I think Mud Bomb is something that comes later on as it breeds or something. But those are the options that we have for Vikavolt. A few teammates, Heat Ran is really nice with Vikavolt. It appreciates the ability of Vikavolt to dodge Earthquakes, the Hidden Power Ice, Garchomps, and Landorus. Likewise, Heat Ran obviously is immune to fire type attacks that are aimed at Vikavolt, can take on Ferrothorn, can Stealth Rock out for this boy. They like being, again, Heatran likes being Volt Switch into. It's a slow Volt Switch from Vikavolt, so it can come in. Vikavolt can take on Tapu Fini, which is a problem for Heatran unless it's running Bloom Doom. So they pair really well together. Likewise, Landorus forms a Volt Turn Core, gets up rocks. With Intimidate, it can take rock type attacks aimed at it and just break through for the Vikavolt in itself. Like Vikavolt, it still appreciates Vikavolt getting rid of bulky grounds, opposing Landorus, Hippowdon, Garchomp for Landorus to be able to, if their Scarf, wreak havoc. If it's Swords Dance, Dual Dance, wreak more havoc, because that set is disgustingly scary, and it really appreciates Vikavolt. Likewise, Pheromosa appreciates Vikavolt weakening or getting rid of the Tapus for it, especially if it's Scarf, want to maybe sweep late game. It appreciates it getting rid of Tapu Fini. Provides Rapid Spin support, a nice dual bug combo going on. Provides Ice Beam as well if Vikavolt just wants to Volt Switch around. Tapu Fini provides Defog support for Vikavolt, can take the fire type attacks aimed at it, can pretty much take any attack aimed at it. Even the rock type attacks aimed at it, even if it doesn't resist. Same thing with Landorus, like because of Intimidate and because of Tapu Fini's big giant bulk stat. It could take the rock type attacks aimed at it and provide that. Latios likes that Vikavolt weakens the Tapus for it, or gets rid of the Tapus. Latios can spam Psyshock or drop Dracos when the Tapus are gone. It also provides defog support for that, can hidden power fire, can run Earthquake if your opponent has a Heat Ran, to help Vikavolt out. And Vikavolt also can take on Scizors just with Spec Thunderbolts and not care about any of the attacks coming out at it outside of U-turn. And if you run like a timid agility set, you can outspeed Scizor to a KO that boy after Stealth Rock, helping out Latios. And Pelipper also provides defog support. If it is a rain team, provides rain, so that way Thunder is accurate. Takes the water type attacks aimed at Vikavolt. So these are like some pairings you could use if you want to use Vikavolt. Obviously, I mentioned for the first set a bunch of Trick Room abusers, a bunch of Trick Room mods that set up for Vikavolt. But in any case, I hope you guys learned something. Feel free to follow me on Twitch and Twitter. Those links are down below. Feel free to subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.